A great day to one and all. Welcome to the September 2023 Licensure Examination for Teachers or LET Review for Math Majors. I am Mr. Kim J.C. Ensho, and I will be discussing with you the diagnostic test, particularly items 1 to 20. So I hope that your copies are ready, and let's see how many points you will get. Let's start with the directions. Please be reminded to write the letter of the correct answer before the number. If the correct answer is not found among the choices, write E. This is assuming that you have the PDF copy of the actual paper. But since you will be answering in the answer sheet for the licensure examination for teachers, then it is understood that you will be shading instead of writing the letter. So with that said, let us begin with item number 1. He is considered the founder of trigonometry, but is most famous for his incidental discovery of the precession of the equinoxes. Who is this person? Is it Hipparchus, Pythagoras, Euclid, or Thales? Let's see. Pythagoras is actually famous for the Pythagorean theorem. That is, in a right triangle, the sum of the squares of the two legs is equal to the square of your hypotenuse. Euclid is very famous for his elements. Thales of Miletus is one of the seven sages of Greece. The correct answer here is Hipparchus. He was a Greek astronomer, geographer, and mathematician. He is considered the founder of trigonometry, but is most famous for his incidental discovery of the precession of the equinoxes. Hipparchus was born in Nicaea and probably died on the island of Rhodes in Greece. So if you answered letter A, great job. I hope you had a great start. Number 2. What do you call symbols that represent numbers? Do we call them ordinals, scribbles, numerals, or cardinals? If you answered letter C, then you are actually correct because numerals are symbols that represent numbers. So we have many kinds or many types of numeration systems. Probably one of the most popular in our case is the Hindu Arabic numerals, which uses these numerals for 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. We also have the Roman numerals. Roman numerals do not have a numeral for 0. So we have here 1, I for 1, V stands for 5, X stands for 10, and so on. Letter C. Number 3. The earliest form of numbers were tally marks found on prehistoric. Did you go for bones, temples, mud, or paper? If you answered paper, I'm sorry to say it's incorrect. In fact, the earliest form of numbers were tally marks found on prehistoric bones and artifacts. Letter A. I hope you got it. That's why if you could see from here in this image, this is an example of a bone that has marks on it. Letter A. Which of the following is the Filipino term for mathematics? Is it log paulit, B. Sipnayan, C. Sukgisan, or D. Tumbasan? Let's see what they mean. When we say log paulit, it is actually logarithm. The correct answer is Sipnayan. Sukgisan in English is called geometry, whereas tumbasan is a term that means equation. Letter B, Sipnayan. It's the Filipino term for mathematics. Number 5. Which of the following is 79? 79. Is it A, 69, B, 79, C, 89, or D, 97? So let's now reveal the answers. 69 in Spanish is actually 69. 60 means 60, nueve means 9. So 69 means 69. The correct answer here, when we say 79, that is 79. 89 in Spanish is 89 and 97 is 97. 90 means 90, 7 means 7, so 97 means 97. Letter B. Number 6. This mathematician is famous for the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a, b, and c are the sides of a right triangle, and c is the hypotenuse. Is it A, Anaxagoras, B, Euclid, C, Plato, or D, Pythagoras? I believe that all of you will get this right because this guy is pretty popular. But anyway, let's discuss this. Anaxagoras is a Greek philosopher of nature remembered for his cosmology and for his discovery of the true cause of eclipses. Euclid is famous for his The Elements. Plato is famous for the Republic, which details a wise society run by a philosopher. The correct answer here is letter D, Pythagoras. In antiquity, Pythagoras was credited with many mathematical and scientific discoveries, including the Pythagorean theorem. That is, in a right triangle, the sum of the squares of the two legs is equal to the square of your hypotenuse. Letter D. Number 7. Which of the following is one of the contributions of Archimedes? Is it A, pioneered the study of graph theory? B, the equation V minus E plus F equals 2? C, the most beautiful equation, E to the I pi plus 1 equals 0? Or D, the principle of buoyancy related to fluids? And you know what? If you answered any of A, B, and C, I'm sorry to say, but they are incorrect. Why is that so? Because A, B, and C here were actually attributed to Leonard Euler. Archimedes, one of his contributions is the principle of buoyancy related to fluids. He was able to discover it, or let's say unearth the science behind it. Letter D. Number 8. Who was the first computer programmer in the world? Is it Ada Lovelace, Hypatia, Valentina Tereshkova, or the Sophie Germain? Believe it or not, the very first computer programmer in the world is a woman. And she is actually letter A, Ada Augusta Lovelace. Hypatia is one of the earliest known female mathematicians who invented the astrolabe for ship navigation and devices for measuring the density of fluids. Valentina Tereshkova is known for being the first and youngest woman in space, having flown a solo mission on the Vostok 6 on June 16, 1963. Whereas Sophie Germain discovered the identity in her explorations related to Fermat's last theorem and primality testing. So letter A is the correct answer. Number 9. If x is an integer, which of the following is always even? Is it x squared, x cubed, 2x plus 1, or x times x plus 1? If you answered any of A or B, sorry to say they are incorrect. Why? If x is even, let's say 2, 2 squared is even. 2 squared is 4, which is even. And 3, if x is 2, so if x is even, say 2, 2 cubed is 8, which is even. The only possibility for x squared and x cubed to be odd is when when the basis, when the value of x is odd. But if x is even, so x squared and x cubed are always even as well. 2x plus 1 is in fact the form of an odd number. If you try, if x is, for example, even, say 2, 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5, which is odd. Even if x is even, say x equals 4, 2 times 4 plus 1 is 9, which is odd. That's why if x is an integer, regardless if it is even or odd, 2x plus 1 is always odd. For x times the quantity x plus 1, if x is even, say 2, then x plus 1 has to be 3, right? And 2 times 3 is equal to 6, which is even. However, if x is odd, say 3, then x plus 1 will be 4, and 3 times 4 will be 12, which is even. That's why x times x plus 1 is even when x is an integer, regardless if x is odd or even. Letter D. Number 10. There are 10 people in the market. How many handshakes will there be in all if each one will shake hands with each other exactly once? Is it 45, 55, 60, or 70? So to do this, there's actually many ways of doing this. One is by finding a pattern. If there's only one person, there will be no handshake, so 0. If, of course, we are assuming that a person will not shake hands with himself because he will be shaking hands with others. If there's 2 people, there will be 1 handshake in all. If there's 3 people, 3 handshakes in all. If there's 4 people, you may try to act it out. There will be 6 handshakes in all. If there's 1 handshake, it could, if there's 2 people, we could express it as 0 plus 1 or 1 handshake. If there's 3 people, there's 3 handshakes, but 3 could be expressed as 0 plus 1 plus 2. If there's 4 people, there's 6 handshakes, but 6 could be expressed as 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. If you could notice, if you could generalize, if there are n number of people, then you have to add all the natural numbers from 0 until n minus 1. And that's why we have an arithmetic series or the sum of the terms of an arithmetic sequence. For 10 people, we are supposed to add 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way until 9. And if you can remember the arithmetic series formula, it's number of terms divided by 2 multiplied by the sum of the first and the last term. So 0 plus 9 in the inside here. 10 over 2 is 5. 0 plus 9 is 9. And 5 times 9 is 45. Letter A. You can also use 10 combination 2 because order does not matter. And for every handshake, there are 2 people involved. 11. If 1 squared equals 1, 11 squared equals 121. 111 squared equals 12321. What do you think is the value of 11,111 squared? Which of A, B, C, or D did you choose? If you are keen enough to see the pattern, if there's only one, if the base consists only of 1, so it's 1. If there's 2 ones, then the middle number is 2. And 1 to increasing, then after that decreasing. If you have three ones, the largest number in the middle is also 3, and it increases 1, 2, 3 to 1. And also, the answer it's in this case, for these cases, is a palindrome, right? Because when we say palindrome, it is a whole number that can be read the same as forward as backward. So if we have this, you could see that the base consists of 5 ones. So by using the pattern, then you have to count all the way to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then decreasing 4, 3, 2, 1. Letter B. I hope you got it. Number 12. What is the eighth number in the sequence 1, 3, 2, 6, 5, 15, and so on? Is it 42, 43, 44, or 45? From here, you could actually see that the pattern is from 1 to 3, you multiplied by 3, right? 3 became 2 by subtracting 1. 2 became 6 probably because we times 3. 6 became 5 because we subtracted by 1. And if you could see times 3 again, will give us 15. And basing on the pattern, there's alternating times 3 and minus 1. So I'm sure the next is minus 1, which is 14. That's the seventh number. 14 here is a seventh number in our list, but we're looking for the eighth number. So by continuing the pattern, times 3, and 14 times 3 is 42. Letter A. I hope you got it. 13. A learner is still trying to figure out a formula that works on the problem. What stage of the investigation process is he in? Is it deriving, proving, summarizing, or verifying? If you answered deriving, I'm happy to say that you are correct. In the deriving stage, the learner is still trying to figure out the conjecture or the formula that works for that particular problem or situation. Sa proving part naman po, dito na part na the learner is providing proof, no, or patunay, or sinoshow niya na tama yung formula or yung conjecture sa kanyang specified domain. When we say summarizing, you are stating the main points or the salient points of your investigation. When we speak about verifying, you are actually checking your conjecture if it is true for some tried and untried cases. So, chine-check mo kung pasok nga ba siya sa data mo o tama nga kaya siya sa mga cases na hindi mo pa na-consider. So, letter A po, yung tamang sagot. 14. A learner restates the salient points of his mathematical investigation process. What is he doing? Deriving, proving, or summarizing? I guess based sa number 13, may idea na po kayo siguro kasi naipaliwanag ko doon. And if you, when we say deriving, you're still finding the formula or conjecture. Proving, you are now, of course, you're proving or showing it's true within the specified domain. Summarizing, you are stating the main points or the salient points. And verifying is you are checking if it's true for some cases. So letter C, summarizing yung tamang sagot. 15. Which of the following refers to the exploration of an open-ended situation? Is it non-routine problem solving, mathematical problem solving, arithmetic juxtaposition, or mathematics investigation? If you answered non-routine problem solving, I'm sorry, it's not. B is also not. C is also not. When we say non-routine problems, these problems are usually when learners are confronted by non-routine problems, there's a tendency na they're stuck and probably they don't know what to do and they have to think, no? deeper kung paano nga ba i-solve yung problem. They had to think of a particular strategy. The correct answer here is letter D, mathematics or mathematical investigation. Mathematical investigation allows students to examine situations using various techniques, and in the process of their exploration, they develop skills that can be applied to other problems. In mathematics investigation, it is also the exploration of an open-ended situation, and learners choose what aspects of the problem they would like to solve. Okay po? Letter D. 16. To prove P implies Q, a mathematician assumed the negation of Q and is trying to arrive to the negation of P. What do you call this type of proof? If you answer direct, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Because when we say direct proof, you begin with the premise until you reach the conclusion. And this actually, the correct answer here is letter B, proof by contraposition or by contrapositive. In mathematics, proof by contrapositive or proof by contraposition is a rule of inference used in proofs where one infers a conditional statement from its contrapositive. In other words, kapag gusto po nating i-prove na if A then B or if A implies B, then kung gagawin po natin yung proof by contrapositive, i-assume natin, begin po tayo sa negation ng ating conclusion and form statements related to that or until such time na mag-a-arrive po tayo sa A, sa not A or sa negation ng ating premise. Letter B, proof by contraposition or contrapositive. 17. If A equals B plus 1/2 all over B plus 3 all over 2, what is the value of A? Is it 1/2, 1/3, 3/4, or 5/2? From here, I prefer to work with the B plus 1/2 all over B plus 3 because they contain the variable B. So from here, I will get this 2 muna, yung dalawang ito, sa gitna at sa pinaka-right. And I added B and 1/2, and combining them into a single fraction gives us 2B plus 1 all over 2 sa left-hand side po natin. I copied only the right-hand side, and I used multiplication property of equality, yung sinasabi ng iba, yung cross-multiply daw. But actually, the better term is multiplication property of equality. With such, 2 times 2B plus 1 will be 4B plus 2. 2 times B plus 3 is 2B plus 6. Sunod po na yung 2B na to, magiging negative 2B sa left side. So 4B minus 2B will be 2B. Itong plus 2 na to ay magiging minus 2 sa right. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Dividing both with 2B equals 4, dividing both sides by 2 gives us B equals 2. Pero hindi pa po yan yung final answer natin. Bakit po? Kasi yung hanap po natin ay A. Si A po, to get A, we can substitute sa B plus 1/2 o sa B plus 3/2. Pero yung ginawa ko po, mas madali ata yung B plus 3/2. So, if A is equal to 2 plus 3 all over 2, kasi B is 2 then that gives us A as 5/2. Letter D. I hope you got it. Number 18. Which of the following is equivalent to x raised to 0.25? Is it the square root of x, the fifth root of x squared, the fourth root of x, or fifth root of x? So from here, it would be better if we could express the decimal exponent of x into fraction form. So 0.25, as we know, is 25 over 100 or 1/4, di po ba? And if you are raising a base to a fractional exponent, you could actually convert it into radical form. The denominator of the fractional exponent becomes the index of your root, whereas the numerator here, x, becomes the exponent of x. But again, provided na this is defined within its domain, no? That this value is defined as well. So letter C, yung tamang sagot. Fourth root of x. Next, 19. If x raised to 50 is equal to 100, what is the positive value of x raised to 25? Is it 5, 10, 25, or 20? To do this, there are many ways. Remember that 25 is 1/2 of 50, right? So I copied this expression and raised both sides to 1/2. Bakit 1/2? Kasi ang goal ko, if we are using a power of a power rule, di ba, minumultiply natin yung exponents nila. So raising both sides to 1/2 will not alter the inequality, will still preserve the equality, I believe, no? And we're still working on the positive values, I mean. 50 times 1/2, no, is 25. So x raised to 25, and 100 raised to 1/2 means square root of 100, which is 10. Hence, x raised to 25 is equal to 10, letter B. And lastly, number 20. If x is equal to y over 5 and 5x equals 7, what is y? Is it 7, 2, 28, or 40? To do this, again, feel free to pause the video if you wish po. To do this, the first equation here, x equals y over 5, could be expressed as y over 5 equals x. This is by the symmetric property of equality. Because if A equals B, then B equals A. Next, I multiplied both sides by 5 to clear of fractions. So that's why y is equal to 5x. And if you could see po, no, sa equation na to, if y is equal to 5x and 5x here is equal to 7 based on our given, then by the transitive property of equality, we could say that y is equal to 7. You might be asking, sir, ano yung transitive property of equality? Transitive property of equality states that if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. So here, yung A could stand for Y, B could stand for 5x, and C could stand for 7. That's why y equals 7, letter A. I hope you understood the discussion. Thank you very much, and a great day to one and all.